Amazon FBA can be great. It can be a great income generating machine. But you know what's not great? It's doing Amazon FBA accounting and bookkeeping. So if you don't know who I am, I've been selling for around about 4.5 years now, selling on Amazon. I've done over 1.4 million, things like that. And within that time, I've learnt the basics, the fundamentals, and the advanced ways in which that you, as a beginner and as an intermediate, can actually track your Amazon FBA bookkeeping and accounting. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about exactly what you need to do right from the beginning to keep on top of your expenses. Now, first of all, why is this important? Well, you've got a little thing in the UK called the HMRC, and what they do is track every single business to check that they're reporting back to them the correct numbers. Now, although they don't go through every single business all the time, at one stage it's likely that they're going to do some sort of investigation around you, especially when you're VAT registered, because this seems to be more of a systematic thing, systematic routine. I've had a VAT check myself, I've had tax inspections myself. Luckily, we've passed because of the information I'm about to give you in this video. So it's important to always have this stuff at hand. Now, with Amazon FBA, specifically, the bookkeeping can be a little bit more advanced, okay? And that's why I always recommend that you use an Amazon FBA specific specialist accountant, okay? Now, if you want to check out a specialist accountant, I would definitely check out Awesome, because I've been using them for over 3 years now. There's £100 off link below, cheeky little link there. I've been using them for many years now. They actually do Amazon FBA specific. A lot of people make the mistake by doing Amazon FBA themselves, the accounting, and missing things, or they use an everyday standard accountant that has a shop on the street. Maybe they're good for a self-employed builder, but they're not so good when it comes to Amazon FBA, because there's a lot of things that they need to take into account with that. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into the fundamentals that you need when starting Amazon FBA bookkeeping. Whether you're using an accountant, whether you're not using an accountant, right, this stuff is going to save you money either way, because if you're going to use an accountant, this is going to streamline it, so there's less expenses for you to pay your accountant, because you know the accountant essentially gets paid for their time. So if there's less work for them to do because you're already hoovering it up, you're clearing it up, then this is good anyway. If not, then you know how to do it all yourself. But these fundamentals that I'm going to talk about are actually the specifics that you need, whether you're using an accountant or not using an accountant. These are the fundamentals that you must have. And the first thing you need to be doing is tracking all expenses. This is the number one most fundamental thing, otherwise known as bookkeeping. Now, that's all essentially what bookkeeping is, right? You've got bookkeepers and then you've got your accountants. And the bookkeepers, what they're doing, what you're doing, if you're going to try and track this yourself, is just keeping a log of every single thing that you buy. And the easiest way to do this is to use a good old standard spreadsheet. And within that spreadsheet, you're going to need the name of the item. You're going to need a reference of where the item came from, i.e. the company, the store where you bought it from. You're going to need your ASIN. You're going to need your SKUs and everything that's related to that. You're going to need the price. You're going to need a link to the receipt, likely, so that everything in that spreadsheet is a log for you to look back at any time to check whether you've got a reference for them specific products. So the first thing that you need to do to ensure whether you're using an accountant or not using an accountant is to make a log of every single thing that you've ever purchased in your business from day one. I promise you this is going to make it a lot easier, especially if HMRC come round sniffing. So as I mentioned in that previous part of the video, it's tracking every single one of your expenses on a spreadsheet, every single thing that you've bought. And I also mentioned there that you should do a link to your receipt. So here's how I do it, right? So everything that we purchase in our business, we track on our tracking, our purchasing tracker. As I said, you should have the name of the business, you should have the name of the product, you should have the ASIN on there, the price, etc. And then also the link to your receipt. And that link to the receipt links directly to my Google Drive. And that's the next thing I'm going to talk about. So you have a link to it. So it's really easy, if you want to come back to it, to grab that receipt that you've got from your store or wherever you bought it from. You need to claim back the receipt from there. And then at the next stage, what you're then going to do is create a Google Drive. And that Google Drive should be in monthly orders. That's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And every single one of your receipts should be inside that folder. So at any single time when you want to give them to your accountant or anything like that, with Awesome that we use, actually we just upload to their software all of our receipts and they handle this. But if you're tracking it yourself, you should have the Google Drive in monthly order. You should upload all your receipts to that Google Drive so that any one time you can come back, or your accountant can come back, grab the receipts and use it for whatever they need to use it for. You've also got a link to that on your purchase tracker. This is how we track our stuff, keep it really nicely organized. Now, the next part is actually not just tracking your expenses and tracking the receipts, but we then need to dive into the actual tracking of the sales that you're making on Amazon. Now, there's a few ways that you can do this. Now, you can do this manually. I'm not going to lie to you. You can do this manually. Or if you've got an accountant like the one that I use, which is Awesome, then what they do is use these softwares that I'm going to talk about included in their package, send them the receipts. They sort of do it all for you. But that's not for everyone. Not everyone has to do that. So you can do this manually, or you can do it yourself with the software, or you can do it yourself manually. The easiest way for you to do this is to use the softwares that I'm doing, and the even easier way to do that is to use an accountant that knows what they're doing, that can use the softwares for you. That's the truth of it, right? If you want to spend the most time actually making money in your business, that's the easiest ways that we can do it. So what you need to do is actually download a sales report in Amazon. Okay, now this sales report, if you're going to do it manually, it's a bit of a faff to get it, by the way, but there's ways that you can look it up on YouTube and they'll show you how to do this. You need to manually check the sales that you're getting, the Amazon fees that you're being charged, the refunds, etc., like that. Figure it all out, submit all that information to HMRC. Now that sounds like a headache, and without, like, you know, when you're selling a lot and without softwares, trust me, that is a headache, right? So the best way that you can use this, the best way that you can do this is use a tool called Xero. Now, what Xero is going to do, it's going to show every single thing that you've purchased is going to be there. Every single thing that you've sold is going to be there. And what it's going to do is just be the go-between between this, right? It's going to be the go-between. It's going to be like your own mini bookkeeper, if you like, right? That's going to be keeping track of what's come in and what's come out of your business, right? But that's not the only piece of software that you're going to need, because although Xero's good, what Xero doesn't do is connect to your Amazon account, which then connects to your bank account, which then connects to any credit cards that you use, right? And there's a lot of hidden fees that you will see if you did go ahead and download the Amazon sales report, like the Amazon seller fees, like the gift wrapping, like the VAT, like what sort of tax codes are you paying VAT, are you not paying VAT, and things like that are going to be missed, right? So you need Xero for one, and then you need to link that, pardon the pun, with Link My Books. And with all that, Link My Books is then going to give back reports to you or your accountant or whoever's using it from that sales report, and it's then going to filter from any advertising costs, the specific VAT you're being charged, any gift wrapping, any refunds and things like that. And these are the fundamental, most important things. It's not good enough for you to just get a report from Xero saying this is the money in and this is the money out. That may work for a cleaning business, but it doesn't work for an Amazon FBA business, because there's many different costs within that you need to make sure that you're accounting for. Otherwise, you're going to be paying more VAT. And this is another reason why you can't use Joe Blogs from down the road who uses a normal accountant, because they're going to miss this stuff, almost guaranteed, right? And as we're on this final note here, that's another top tip I want to give you at the end of this video, right? The tax codes within Amazon. This is something that I haven't actually ever heard anyone talk about in this Amazon space. The tax codes, whether you're doing arbitrage, bundles, or private label, the tax codes are extremely important, right? And you need to manually, whether you own the listing or not, you need to be inside your account editing them tax codes. Whether once you're VAT registered, are you 0% VAT? Are you, or is this a 20% VAT product? Okay. If the product is biscuits, for example, and there's 0% VAT on some biscuits, not all, on most biscuits it's 0% VAT, then if that tax code says 20%, you're still going to get 20% tax on that. And you've just paid 20% tax when you've bought it. Okay. What you should be doing is, sorry, you won't be paying tax on it when you buy it, by the way, because it's 0% VAT, but you'll be paying tax, and you shouldn't be paying tax when you buy it, and you shouldn't be paying tax when you sell it, because it's a 0% item. If the tax code's incorrect, then you're not going to be paying the VAT when you buy it, but you're going to be paying it when you sell it, which is wrong. Vice versa, you could do it the other way around, right? So if you're if it's 20%, but you've got it marked as 0%, then you are illegally illegally, don't worry, you're not going to get put in prison for it, but you're illegally, this is what I'm talking about if they do a VAT inspection like they did on me a little while ago, you are going to be illegally selling them products where you should be paying the VAT man, but you're not, because you incorrectly put it down as a 0% product on that listing when it should have been a 20%. Now, it's very important that you're aware of this. You need to check your VAT tax codes within Amazon every single listing that you create and every single arbitrage or wholesale listing that you're selling on. Very, very important. Guys, that's a summary of like how you do accounting and bookkeeping for beginners. That's the thing. Don't get overwhelmed by it. Don't get stung by it by using, accountants that have no idea about Amazon. But that's the fundamentals, right? But I don't want you to get overwhelmed by this stuff. It's kind of like very overwhelming to start with. But I promise you, once you persist through it, once you learn how to do it, then you're going to be absolutely fine. It's going to be second nature to you once you get going. But my top advice is just please don't go to an everyday accountant down the road, because they are going to mess this up for you. You need to sort of learn this stuff, okay? I'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a great day.